Betty's kitchen today. We are coming from Bullhorn Betty's kitchen today. We have a 3:30 show that I hope you guys will be here for. But for today, we are doing something a little different. We're going to be talking about true crime, but I've got to cook something. I'm starving, and I figured we would cook sirloin and potatoes together because, to be honest with you, my 3:30 show, I'm going a little bonkers over here. I'm going a little bonkers because I've been up since early morning. I've been doing a lot of court paperwork, a lot of emails, a lot of everything. So while many of you guys are probably just starting your day, I've been up for the last 5-6 hours and have done a massive amount of stuff in that time. So which had nothing to do with true crime, by the way. Nothing whatsoever to do with true crime. Hey guys, I see people pouring in. It's nice to see you. Dawn, Amy, Melanie, me and you. It's nice to see you. Izzy girl, good afternoon. Big Back Mike, all up in the house. When you bringing me a plate? Like you do your neighbor. Well, when you become a neighbor, a friendly neighbor, what can I say? And I gotta say, my neighbor stays fat and happy, okay? He stays fat and happy. So, we're going to be taking Glenn a plate too, but we're going to be here for a little bit. Hey, but you know what? You guys can cook with me, okay? Here's what we need. I'll go ahead and start you off because we're going to be going through the processes of cast irons. It's that beautiful shine on my cast iron, okay? We're going to show you what a good oiled cast iron looks like and what a piss poor old cast iron looks like. I just washed one in the dishwasher, which means it needs to be seasoned all over again. So for preparation of doing this, I stuck it in the oven for the last couple days to really dry it out and show you what a cast iron looks like and how to clean it. We're going to do a cleaning of cast iron on a completely different show. But for today, we're going to be talking about true crime, and we are going to be doing these beef sirloin steak bites and garlic potatoes. And we're going to be doing it in the skillet. But the recipe is lacking something. So don't worry, Bullhorn Betty fixed it. Yes, I do fix other people's recipes. I pulled this off because this morning, while I was doing a lot of stuff, I had to get some milk. Delilah didn't have her milk this morning, and she's such a good little girl. She needs her milk. That's her one thing she gets every morning. And so I got these thinly sliced. This is beef sirloin tip steak. So a decent cut of meat, USDA choice. I picked this up because I knew what I was going to end up doing with it. I really didn't know I knew it was going to be potato-y, garlicky. I figured with a little gravy. This doesn't really have a whole lot of gravy going with it, so we're going to have to. I'm from the South, okay? We don't like potatoes dry, okay? We got to have something, okay? We need a little bit of gravy, okay? So I'm probably going to do just a little bit of gravy, even though the recipe doesn't call for it. But we don't do the recipe. We have to do it, Bullhorn Betty style. So I haven't done anything, okay, at all with anything. I literally haven't even measured out my stuff, but we got everything. We're going to do it together, and I'm going to tell you guys what you guys need and what you don't. The one thing that this recipe is lacking, so for the anti-onion, okay, I am an onion fanatic, okay? I love the flavor that I think an onion gives a savory flavor. Even if you don't like the texture of an onion, you can still cut this in chunks and scoop it out later so you can still get the flavoring. It doesn't taste like onion when you're cooking it, okay? It tastes like onion when you put it on a burger because you're eating raw onion, okay? When you cook with it, it doesn't taste that way. So this recipe did not have any onion in it. I'm sorry, but if you're having steak and potatoes, you gotta have a little onion. I love purple onions too, but I don't like being around a bunch of people when I eat purple onions. Pebbles. Have you ever smelled a salad? When I was in the office, I always made them hold the onions. I love onions. I love onions with a salad. I love the tart. I love onions. I'm an onion fanatic. I could bite into a sweet onion. Just bite it like an apple. So we've got potatoes here. I put an onion out because we're using an onion, even though the recipe doesn't call for an onion. And we're going to first season the steak. I'm only going to season one of them. We've got, I'm going to look and see which one is the smallest one. And the smallest one is what I'm going to use because I'm just feeding me and Glenn. We don't need a whole lot, okay? This is going to be filling. It's going to have meat and potatoes and most likely a biscuit. Like I'm going to probably put you know, a fake, not so fake biscuit in. If you guys know what a fake biscuit to me is, you know, comes in the tube and it says Grands on it, right? Or Great Value, but it's in a tube, like it's in a can. You crack the can. Okay, those are fake biscuits. Those things are filled with so much preservatives and stabilizers and just gunk. And they have frozen biscuits. Now, frozen biscuits are a little bit more expensive, but they're a little bit more healthier. Do they still have preservatives in it? Of course they do. It's the food company. They want to make sure that they don't lose one red cent. So they make sure they preserve the crap so it can be, you know, we can use it in the Ice Age, okay? In the way of the future, even though the Ice Age is in the back, but we believe that the Ice Age is coming back, okay? At some point, hell will freeze over, okay? And we are kind of, you know, I'll shut up. We had a dose of Jesus yesterday, which reminds me, I need to put Turkey Man's testimony and sermon up for today, and I think I'm going to start doing that because, you know, we always have Sundays, and I feel like Turkey Man gets drowned out, and we need his message because he's one of us, and he always does good. All right, so here's our steak. So we have basically two sheets. Okay, this looks like the bigger one. We basically have two sheets. If I have to tell you to wash your hands, I'm sorry. Yes, I've washed my hands about 1,000 times today because I cleaned up my kitchen. Okay, so I'm going to touch this. I usually don't touch meat with my hands. I usually use gloves. It's a personal preference, not because I have to. I'm cooking this for myself. If I wanted to drop it on the floor and pick it up and cook it, I could, because it's not going to anybody but me. And if I'm going to eat food off the floor, well, that's my choice too, now isn't it? So all these naysayers out there, I just figured we'd just go ahead and just get all that stuff out of the way. All right. So I'm probably going to most likely use this top. It's just a thin little nothing, right? Usually I get a steak that's probably, I don't know, maybe twice, 3 times this for the tips. But for what I needed for, this was only $10.14. I'm going to get 2 meals out of it. That's not too bad. So I'm just going to strip this out and just do it a little bit differently since I got such a great deal on the cut of meat. So we're going to do first, we got to get the marinade for it because the marinade is important and it gives us an opportunity to chit-chat for 15 minutes because once we get the marinade on, the steak has to sit. So let's go ahead and get that. So if you guys would like to follow along, if you guys have some steak and you're like, hey, I didn't know what I was going to do with my steak today. Let's go watch Bullhorn Betty and True Crime. Oh my gosh, she has a recipe for steak today. Okay, so we're going to do 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of paprika, a teaspoon of cumin. So it's going to have a little heat, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Again, just a little spice. It's not overly. This 1.5 teaspoons between the two of them is not overly spicy. And then we have 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. And 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Now I will tell you for the black pepper, I don't measure my black pepper. I grind it until it looks like it's enough. But because of over salting, and this is not being my recipe, I'm going to follow the 2 tablespoons of kosher salt because nobody likes over salted potatoes or steak. Okay, we are not eating seafood today. We are eating moo-moo food today. So that's what we're doing. Hello, Michelle. Who else is all up in the house? And then we'll start getting talking about true crime. Don't miss the show this afternoon at 3:30. It's about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. As I told you, our commitment to Sebastian Rogers and our goals to bring him home have not changed for this channel despite whatever's happened. I know we had a few breaking cases. It probably made you guys worried or nervous that I am leaving the case. In all reality, I'm not leaving the case, was never planning on leaving the case. However, I do need a break from time to time. It is the Sebastian Rogers case is pretty intense. And I got the rough edge of it, right? I got the worst part of the case. I was the realized, it was all wrong. It was all lies. It was whatever, but it was still a lot. And so when I had an opportunity to take a breather and refocus for myself, just for my mental health, this is where we are. Am I still angry at Sumner County? Of course. Am I still going to be screaming at every time we talk about something? Of course. Am I going to still be cussing Chris and Katie out? Absolutely. Nothing is going to be changing about my commentary. Some people like it, some people don't. I know for my religious side, they're probably thinking I'm a little too intense for it and probably need to move on a little bit. And I gave myself a break, but at the end of the day, when you give yourself a commitment to a case, not just a commitment to a case, but a commitment to a father of a missing child, you want to honor that commitment as much as possible. Even Layla Santinello, I'm a phone call away for Jennifer. I'm a phone call away for her. And I would be there. There has been times that I have had to show up over there. You guys didn't hear about it. We didn't do videos about it. We didn't put it up on the thing because there was no content to be had, right? It was for, emotional purposes and moral support. So we do things like that. And one of the reasons why I like meeting our audience, because our audience, I feel like, gives me so much support, financially, but more importantly, just standing beside me as we go through a lot, advocating for these cases. You guys don't realize how important personally that is to me, because, sometimes out in the field, I am truly, physically alone. But when I turn on the phone, I'm never alone. I have, hundreds to thousands of people at times in these chats. So it's just nice. But today, we're not really venturing too far. We're in Bullhorn Betty's kitchen. I know it's a crime up in here, so I made my own Bullhorn Betty debut. We're not going to kill you with food. We're just going to kill you with love. All right, guys. So we have to make the marinade for this, and then we will get it all mixed up, and then it's got to sit. So when it sits, we'll start getting conversated about. Now, if you know anything about me, this is my go-to for everything. I'm sorry, I like it. I'll put garlic powder in, but nothing in my house goes without some Lowry's garlic salt. I'm sorry. Unless it's like, sweet breakfast stuff. If it's savory, it gets Lowry's. If you don't know that yet, invest in Lowry's. There are a few staples that I do invest in my home, okay, for quick cooking. Here's a few of my secrets. This right here, beefy onion soup. Know it, love it, get it, okay? This is Crockpot Miracle 101. You just throw in potatoes, celery, carrots, meat, put, a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of salt in there, some pepper in there, and one of these packages, you got yourself a hearty meal when you come home. And you don't even need to know how to cook. You don't even know how to cook. This right here, this and this right here. This is another secret. Where is it? Do I have another can? I might have used all my cans. Let's see what I got up here. This beefy mushroom? No, it's not beefy mushroom. But it's a Campbell's beefy mushroom. Campbell's is the only one that makes it. So it's not like you can get like the cheap version of it. Campbell's is the only one that makes the beefy mushroom. Even if you don't like mushrooms and you don't like onions, you don't taste it. At least I can't taste it, but somebody that has an oversensitive onion, issue or whatever might. So let's go ahead and get started. We got garlic powder. Oh, I don't have garlic powder. I have onion powder. What do we have here? Some garlic powder. All right, we got garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, which will be over on the other side. Cumin will be over the other side. Cayenne pepper should be on the other side. We've got paprika, cayenne, and cumin. So go ahead and get the measuring spoons. We're going to reduce the salt just a little bit because I'm adding the Lowry's garlic salt in there. So you're not going to need the full amount of the salt that they're saying on here. So I'll most likely only do 1 of the 2 teaspoons of salt for this mix. And so we're just going to use a regular bowl, garlic powder. Garlic powder is a tablespoon. Teaspoon. Oh crap, my tablespoon's missing because it's in my coffee. So let me wash this off. No, this is only a half tablespoon. Where's my tablespoon? This is only a half. Well, what say you? We got the measuring cup gremlin has been here and has stolen my tablespoon measuring thing. All right, I don't want to wet it. If it gets a little coffee in it, I'm fine with it. I can handle it. So we're going to do garlic. It's 1 tablespoon, so we're going to have to do 2. I just take these tops off. Sorry, you guys can't really see what I'm doing over here, can you? So I'll roll this down. Hold on a second. You guys go down. You guys really go down. Okay, hopefully that's good. Maybe you guys can see a little. Oh, there we go. You guys can't see my face. Maybe just raise you guys up a little bit. Maybe that's what I need to do. Just raise you up. Is that better? Ta-da! You get all of Cooking Betty today. Cooking Betty. As you guys can see, it's a Monday, okay? Mondays are just as hectic for me as they are for you. It's the first day I can get any stuff done. I get a lot of documents throughout the weeks notarized and other things for different things I'm dealing with around the country. So Monday mornings are as much hectic for me as they are for many of you. So we're looking at tablespoons. So these are going to be tablespoons, and since I've got a half of tablespoon, I just knock it off. You don't need to press it or whatever. Just do the best you can. Just tap it on the side before you pull it out. It usually does a nice even whatever. Okay, so we got 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Where's my lids? We're going to do 1 tablespoon of onion powder. And then I'll modify the description as we're doing this. We're doing this live. If I make a mistake, you guys are going to see the mistake live. There are no redos in live shows. Same thing with this one. Just kind of, that's all I do is just tap it until it just comes straight. Okay, so we've got, ooh, you know what? I've got regular paprika here. I bet you it would taste better with some smoked paprika. Where's my smoked paprika? Oh, sorry if I'm showing you my butt. I'm not trying to show you my butt. Ugh. Ugh. Sometimes you gotta hunt for the stuff you don't use all the time, you know? Smoked. This is just plain. This is, where is it? This is just plain old gourmet collection. I think smoky, it is, steak. I'm not doing it on the grill. I'm doing it in cast iron. I think we would want a little smoky flavor to that. This is also a tablespoon. So I'm just knocking it off. Let's check this out. Let me see. Can we really smell the smoky flavor? Oh yeah, you can. You can smell the smoky flavor. So I got this. I don't know how much I paid for it. I probably bought it 10 years ago. It's probably an arm and a leg now because our government's trying to break us just to feed us, right? We got to break our bank account just to feed our family anymore.
So I'm pretty sure it was expensive to have this big of a container from when I bought it, but it obviously lasts for a really long time. It's something that's not used very often, but you can definitely tell this, like the scent in it. Because this scent to me does, I don't think paprika really has, let me see what you guys say. Hey everybody coming in, it's nice to see you. We're just kind of cooking and we'll be talking about true crime while we marinate the steak. But I'm getting the marinade ready and I was just thinking it called for paprika. And so I was about to use this McCormick's gourmet collection, and I remembered I had some smoky paprika. So I figured I'd take, and to me, this is scentless. Like I don't really smell, you know, the scent of this herb, or I think it's an herb. I think it's an herb. Herbs are leaves, and something else is the root. So I don't know the paprika where I've never researched it. But either way, I got smoky, and you could smell that almost charcoal. You know, that cooked when you cook steak on the grill, you get that. Yeah. What you making, Betty? We're making steak and sirloin steak, or sirloin tips and potatoes, but we are doing it a little differently because I got a great price on these steaks, and these are a little bit thinner than I would have used, but it's just for me and Glenn, so certainly this should be enough to feed us a lunch. This recipe didn't call for an onion, so if you don't want to use an onion, don't use an onion. I'm using an onion, okay? I'm an onion fanatic, so I think it provides a lot of flavor no matter what dish it is. I'll probably chunk up some of it, like chop the onion, but I'll probably put some of this in just as a bulk piece, just for the flavoring of it. So it's not, I don't have too much onion in the dish. And so right now we are making the marinade that's going on that thinly sliced sirloin steak. So we've got 1 teaspoon of cumin. I do have a teaspoon over here. Ooh, that's a lot of cumin. That's a teaspoon right there. That's a teaspoon. So we get cumin. And of course this does not fit down there, so maybe I have a half, well, my half will fit down there. So I'll do that. I'll do 2 halves. At least I think I will. I guess not. All right, so I see what a teaspoon is. So I'm just going to eyeball a teaspoon because it's not cooperating with me. That looks about right. Well, we'll just do a little bit more. We like a little heat over here. So there we go. It would fit. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. All right. I mean that is the statement in the OJ trial. That was the most historic, legendary trial of my time outside of Casey Anthony of not guilty verdicts. You know, but if it doesn't fit, you must have quit, baby. And it didn't fit, but we got it. We've got it anyways. We got it anyways. We just got something that would fit. Unlike. I'll leave it. Okay, so we got the cumin, now it's the cayenne pepper, and it's a half teaspoon. So we have a half teaspoon here. We're going in for the cayenne, guys. Woo-wee! Wee-wee! Now, is it a full? No, just half. So, all right, guys. Let's pray to God it's not too spicy. I'll let you know. Then we got 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. We are going to have 1 tablespoon of kosher salt because we're going to put a tablespoon of Lowry's garlic salt in here in lieu of one of those tablespoons of salt. I'm first using kosher salt. Okay, so and then we got, of course, salt up here somewhere. I thought I had it out, but I guess I didn't pull it out. All right, and so we'll do 1 teaspoon of coarse salt. If you guys don't know, this is coarse sea salt here. Kind of looks like this. It's just really coarse. It's like
It's like the stuff you put on the pretzels. You know, like pretzel salt, that thick pretzel. That's kind of what it is. All right, so I'll do 2 teaspoons. That's a teaspoon. All right, we've got the coarse salt. And then a tablespoon or a teaspoon of black pepper. All right, well, we're gonna do fresh black pepper, so I'm not measuring it, but I'm just going to do what I think looks good. You gotta remember with black pepper, when it's fresh, it's a little more potent, in my opinion, than brown black pepper just that you shake out. So be cognizant of that whenever you do it. So now you got this, and you just mix it around. So this is kind of what your herbs, your salt will look like right here, if you guys can see that. So I'm just going to take a pinch. Actually, it's not bad. It's got some heat, but not overpowering heat. Not overpowering heat at all. It is a great rub. It is a great rub. So let's go ahead and get this rubbed up. We'll sit it down, and then we'll start talking about some true crime. I don't know if this recipe calls for oiling the meat before I put that rub on it, so give me just a second so I can read that process of it. Two tablespoons of vegetable oil. I will tell you this, I very, very, very seldom use vegetable oil in any of my cooking. Do I have it? I do have it. I usually buy the cheapest shit because I don't use it. This right here, as you can see, you're probably saying, well, Betty, gosh, that's a lot of oil missing. It's because I fried food one time, used that portion of it, and have it in this, drained out, strained out for a second use. So I use that pot instead of this. So this just stays up there sealed so it doesn't, go bad. But when it comes to my meat or anything, and I know stuff is getting more and more expensive at the grocery store, but there's nothing better than a good olive oil, okay? And it doesn't really matter. I just like olive oil. I think it's better for your skin. I think it's better for your gut. And it has a higher temperature so stuff doesn't burn, So we're going to put this on the meat first, and then we're going to. Now this is the part where I'm about to wash my hands because I've already touched the seasoning and I've already tasted it. Ooh, and I'm about to sneeze because of it. Oh, good gracious. Oh, I feel another one coming. Damn pepper. Okay, which shows you I need to wash my hands even more because I just sneezed on everything. So I'm going to wash my hands. This is where I get gloved up. Like I said, I keep my hands clean throughout the cooking process. That's not the reason why I glove up. It is an ish thing for me, okay? When it comes to my fingernails and everything, I don't like the stuff in my nails. I don't like meat on my hands. I don't like the feeling of it. Maybe I have a little bit of, autism or sensory issues or something, because there are just some things I don't like. And one of those things is the feel of food on my hands when I'm trying to marinate it, like even meatloaf. I can't stand, I love meatloaf. I make a great meatloaf, but I have to use gloves. I cannot stand hamburger meat under my nails. There's just, if I get it, I literally have to stop and get something to clean my nails. I can't, it's an ish thing for me. So I'm going to wash my hands and I'm going to glove up, and then we'll come back here and get the meat done. But I just wanted to let you know that if I wasn't ish, I would do this barehanded, because I really don't care about the, people saying, oh my God, wash your hands. I don't care. I'm cooking this for myself, not you. You don't have to worry about my hygiene when I'm only cooking for myself. So, but either way, I do have a very, very, very clean hygiene when it comes to my kitchen and my food preparation. But I just think people have gotten to be such bullies on here. They just do stupid stuff, and I just don't have time for it. I don't like people like that. Oh, Tammy says, are we invited to come over and eat when you're done cooking? No, because you're going to watch me eat it. When I'm done cooking and teasing you guys letting you guys know how amazing it smells in this house. Then I'm gonna take a big old fat bite right in front of you. I'm gonna be mean Betty. I'm gonna be mean Betty today. I'm gonna be mean Betty. But I think this is fun. I want to do something a little different. I want to talk about true crime, but I also want to cook with you guys. And maybe what we'll do is maybe once a month we'll have a show where we talk about true crime and cook together, either a lunch or a dinner. And I'll let you know, 2 weeks before what the ingredients of that recipe are. And we'll sit down and have a conversation about true crime while we're cooking. And listen, if you're not a great cook, you don't have to be. You just follow my instructions. You're going to be like, this is so stinking good, Betty. So all of you people that don't know how to cook and love true crime and keep going out like Big Mac Mike and giving herself a heart attack because she wants to put those Big Macs, she wants to have that, that deep vein, injection of Big Macs. You should have seen Mike. Mike was literally having, withdrawals. When Mike decided no longer on McDonald's, Mike kicked McDonald's for a little bit. Begrudgingly, and we heard about it every single day here, especially when I cooked. Things we don't forget, right? The things we don't forget. Okay, so now we're starting to heat up over here. So let's get the fan kicking. I got this kick butt fan. I installed it myself, by the way, guys. And look at this. I can turn this up. What? You've got to be joking. All control. Look at this. I don't want the lights on anymore. I don't want you to see. I don't want you to see me looking like this. Oh, look at that. I think it even has some. I don't know. It looks like it's got even some Wi-Fi set up here. I just don't know how to set up the Wi-Fi. Let's put you on one. And it kicks some wind down. It kicks some wind down. When you're over this, I got a little 30-inch fan up here. Did I show you guys that? All right, guys, don't laugh at my. I gotta fix the one spot on the ceiling, but you guys aren't gonna see it from over here. Let's stop you there. Hold on. Let me get you guys seated so you don't fall over. Look at this. This is the cutest stinking thing. How do I turn the fan off? There we go. Cutest stinking fan. Look at that. Little guy right over the stove. I think it's like 32 inches maybe. 32-inch fan right over the stove. Good gracious. I'm in heaven. You ladies that cook know exactly what I'm talking about. Sitting over those pots and pans. And you got a fan, and usually it's dead center in your freaking kitchen or whatever, but it's not right over the. And the reason why is because you got usually the top cabinets that always hit the fan. That's why you don't put a fan in. Well, that's why you buy a 30 or 32-inch or a 34-inch fan. Because then you can open your doors and still have a fan right above you. So we're very fortunate for that. Bullhorn Betty and her electrical skills. Arrgh. Now we're going to deploy our cooking skills. So let me glove up. I just washed my hands. Let me glove up. And then we'll start marinating the steaks. Now, if you are like me and love gloves, but you know how pricey gloves are, I will tell you to please go over to TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop has amazing, they're not necessarily these colors. These I got from, I usually get my gloves around here from Harbor Freight because they're the cheapest place to buy these type of gloves is Harbor Freight, not Walmart, not anywhere, Harbor Freight. So they're also starting to climb that Harbor Freight. In the last box I bought, I almost had to mortgage the house for it. So I found out on TikTok Shop that they have these. Same stuff, you know, got the Chinese print and stuff all over it, but, you know, $2 or $3. $2 or $3, I think, free shipping. Pretty cool. So I've got another box right behind this box whenever that one's done. So anyways, let's go ahead and pull this off. We're going to use the smaller one of the 2 pieces because I don't need both pieces. It's just me and Glenn. And, you know, this is going to be accompanied by other stuff besides just potatoes. We're going to have a vegetable. We just don't eat that much. So we're just going to drop some oil on here. This is just to prepare the meat. You're just going to basically just rub this oil all over. You're going to want to do it on both sides. Just, you see what I'm doing here? I'm just picking it up. I'm just rubbing all the oil in on both sides. That's all I'm doing. And so now with this herb, you don't have to worry about it because everything that's on your hands, this is all going to go in the garbage after you're done. So you don't have to worry about cross-contaminating with me touching the meat or anything like that. And you're just going to put this on there. And you're going to just put it on there as much as possible, as evenly as possible, and then you're going to shake the excess off. That's all you're going to do. And then after that, we're going to tap it into the meat to make sure that it's good and coated. And it's just going to sit here just like that for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to transfer that into a hot cast iron skillet. And if you want to know how much oil I used, it was about, they called for 2 tablespoons of oil, but I used about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil on this to coat it, and it coated it well on both sides. And I want to make sure every bit of the meat is covered in this. If there's one little spot that's not covered in the stuff, you want to make sure it's covered. The whole piece of meat needs to be covered. So this is about what I have left over, just a very, very little bit. This is kind of like my meat. If you guys can see it, it's well seasoned, both sides. And so now we're just going to leave this dry rub, is basically what it is a dry rub. And we're going to leave this on here for, I don't know, about 15 minutes is the minimum time. But up to 3 hours, So we're just going to, I'm not going to put this back in the fridge. Okay. I like, my meat coming up to room temperature before it's cooked. It's just how I've always been taught to cook meat. I'm not a cook. Didn't go to school, so I don't know the purpose of that, but there is a reason for letting your meat rest and come up to room temperature. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this with a top. And to tell you how to take your gloves off without touching the mess, you go up under and then you take your 2 fingers up and you flip over, and now you have mess-free gloves. Those are just some simple little tricks. So we'll let this sit. We're going to have a cup of coffee, and then we're going to talk about some things. I even have the computer all set up here, so I didn't have to run through StreamYard. I wanted to make sure that we could do everything that we wanted to do. There is my messy kitchen, but by the time we're done, all of this stuff will all be cleaned up because it's all part of the cooking. And here is this. I will cut and paste this recipe and credit the author and also talk about what I change with it, because I'm making some changes to this recipe on the spot, because I can tell you that I'm not just a plain Jane, steak and potatoes type of girl. So we're adding onions to this recipe. I'm most likely going to add probably a handful of canned mushrooms to it before it's all said and done, but I haven't decided. It depends on the flavor and the texture when we get to the certain point. So we are here, guys. We've been covering true crime for several years now. We've been covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and hasn't been heard or seen from by anybody since his mother allegedly put him to bed at 9 o'clock on February 25th, which was the Sunday before being reported missing on Monday around 6:33 in the morning. We do, while I'm not going to go too far into the Sebastian Rogers case on this one because we have a whole show set up at 3:30 designated for him, where we're going to continue to be talking about our new about our newly thought of event. Thank you, Panda Bear's mom, advocating for Devlin Tate. She says there are no new updates. Another child that was, he's a teenager, but still somebody's child. And I'm sorry, 19-year-old kids are still babies to me, okay? So I'm going to call these kids kids, even though we know they're lawful legal adults. But Devlin Tate, sounds like had a lot of the same ailments that Sebastian Rogers has, with the chromosome deletion, the autism, and other things. And the poor kid was seen, I'm assuming, I'd like to learn a little more. You know what, Panda Bear's mom, if you can give me some bullet points, here are some of the questions I have that you might be able to send me and give me understanding. Just so whenever you do advocate, I can kind of follow up and have more knowledge for our audience about the case. But here's the couple of the things that I'd like to know, because you know, one of the first things that I do when we have any victim is I look at the people around them. And unfortunately, that means the first people I look at are usually mom, dad, siblings, best friends, co-workers, just people that are around them in and out, day in and day out. And so my first questions is how do we know he didn't go home? Because again, that would be the first theory that we would want to eliminate, is that I realize he lives with his parents. You know, has he becoming more and more dependent on his parents? Or his parents getting to the age where they're kind of like, what are we going to do? We're aging. We can't handle this anymore. Those are, we want to eliminate. I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't want to be offensive at all to anybody. I'm not saying that's the case. But in order for us to confirm that's not the case, we have to ask the questions. He's 17. Okay, I thought he was 19. I'm going off memory. I know she's advocated for him. I know we stopped and talked about it. Thank you for clarifying that for me. So 17-year-old boy. So now he's even underage. And he is within that, my garbage bag. And this is another thing I do. Okay, when I cook, I put it in these. And then I take it directly out to the garbage can. I have one for my recycling. Here, I've got another one for my trash when I'm cooking here. And I also have a compost. I have a compost machine out, so this will be all of my ickies from all of the root vegetables. Carrots, celery, onions, and stuff like that. Eggshells are really, really good. So eggshells would go in this bag, and all of that stuff goes out to the compost machine. And that's where it just goes. So I have 3 bags in here at all times. And when they get full like this, I've just been lazy this morning. When it's full like this, I tie it up and take it out. I don't have stinks in my house. I don't have flying bugs in my house. I don't have any of that. I live alone. It takes me weeks to fill up a garbage can. I used to have those little buggy things that flew around, and I couldn't understand why. And come to find out, it's because I wasn't filling up my garbage can. And I get those scented bags, so you really don't smell the stuff breaking down. Well, these insects still do. And so it was becoming a nightmare, and I realized I can't use a kitchen garbage can anymore. It takes me forever to fill it up. But I find using my old grocery bags for the garbage for each day. Like I said, I fill up 3 of these bags probably a week. That's how little I have, and there are 3 different things. One's recycling, one's just plain garbage, and one's compost. So, you mean you just don't throw it over the fence? No. Sometimes I think my neighbors do. I was out there cleaning my yard. Maybe it's from the hurricane. I don't know. Maybe it's just from garbage flying out of their garbage can. But I was on the side of the house cleaning out some weeds, and I saw this old container, and it was an old beef stock container of a brand, and it was beef flavor. It wasn't even real beef stock, something I would never use. And that and other cans were kind of just on my side of the fence in the dirt, and just makes me like, were these people just tossing crap over the fence or something? I don't know. But again, it could have been just stuff being blown around from the hurricanes. I just don't know. So anyways, one of the concerns is, did he go home? How do we know he never returned back to his home? It sounds like, how was he seen on it sounds like they knew where he was. Was he seen on some type of surveillance footage, you know? And Panda Bear's mom, I'm probably not going to see it, you know, you responding in chat, because I'm going to be reading off of this, but if you don't mind, maybe send me an email and maybe answer or clarify some questions for me, that you see where I'm going. I'm trying to eliminate other people. Like, I know you're advocating for the victim, which is Devlin, but is there things, because you've been following the case, that you think are suspicious or that don't make sense, that needs more exploration? You know, something like that. If you can get that over to me, maybe we'll dive into it a little more. We're starting to slow down a little bit. We went from being slow to having just popping news cycle, and then now we're kind of reeling back from all the adrenaline from those just trying to keep up with the cases. Right now we have nothing in Travis Decker, guys. If you wonder why I'm not on the other channel, I need to start just throwing some content out there. Maybe I'll do some TikTok videos and lives and get those uploaded later today on that channel. And then we have this channel. Oh yeah, don't forget, if you guys thinking about it, you know, just to let you know, we're not in need right now, but I am saving every penny I can for our legal expenses. A few weeks ago, I dropped actually it was 2 or 3 months ago. It was back in January, I dropped a large amount of money for my attorney. And it sounds like we're going to have, at least when the appeals, when it's time, we're not going to really have a whole lot of room to start rounding up money. But there is an entire appeals process that's still going. So just if you guys think of it, you know, it's not something that's pressing right now. It's just like the security of knowing that it's there more so than anything. Oh, thank you, Pamela. God bless you. So if you guys do think of that, you know, we're $1 will do. If you guys have an extra buck, or you guys decide you're going to throw me your coffee money for the day, I won't turn it down. Everything is going to 100% to my attorneys, and we're getting there. We're still getting there, guys. Every month you guys contribute, and all that money goes in there. I'm still able to save. Outside of last month, I'm still able to save right about $1,000 a month to go toward this ever-growing expense. So we have a couple more lawsuits that we haven't even started yet. So you know, just gearing up. So I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. I just wanted to be fully transparent. It's absolutely not needed right now. I don't have any you know, attorney expenses. It's just right now, I'm just saving, because I know when that call comes, I don't have time to say, can you wait for, you know, a few days so I can round it up. You know how it goes. He was alone. He had, Panda Bear's mom's giving us some information here. So this is about Devlin Tate. She says he was alone. He had a phone, but his phone wasn't working. Oh, it just faded out. Hold on here. Wasn't working. His brother said that he was heading to Arizona to his bio mom, but never made it. And where was this? Hold on. His brother says that? That's starting, you know, now I'm starting to look at I'm sorry, there are just certain things that somebody could say, and my ears tune in and say, what? Why would his brother allow him to go to Arizona alone, knowing his condition? Like, now I'm starting to look at the brother. What does the brother look like in this story? Because that's just unrealistic to me. Hold on a second. There's a lot of information to it. Oh, I love that. Carol's outside on her swing listening to us. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like that. Well, we're in the middle of cooking something scrumptious. So right now, if you guys are just tuning in and you see all this stuff behind me, we're kind of cooking today and talking about true crime. So it's that weird thing that Panda Bear Mom's giving us an update on Devlin Tate, and this is a case we really haven't really dived into. I mean, every time she brings Devlin Tate up, we take a few moments and stop and read about him, throw his photo up there. I can't do it how I'm live right now because I'm just running straight through YouTube. But when we're on StreamYard or Restream, I can show you guys the photo of him. And you guys can see it. Maybe I can get my other phone and show you the photo of it. But long story short is this kid at disappearance of 19 years. They're saying he's 19. I thought he was 19. And it said, oh, maybe that's his new age because it says 18-year-old Devlin Tate. So he must have disappeared when he was 17. Has he been gone for almost 2 years? Or is this something... How old is he? Let's see here. So it is just recent. How old he is. This one doesn't say his address. I mean his date of birth. Have they recovered the phone? Doesn't sound like it, but this is coming out of Michigan. Now, Devlin, I mean, in Panda Bear Mom, you're gonna have to let me know this, but it doesn't seem like did Devlin have a vehicle? Because if he didn't have a vehicle, this is where my spidey senses just started going nuts. Because you've got a brother saying that his disabled brother is going to Arizona to be with his mother. Who would let Devlin go alone in his condition? And he's in Michigan. Lake Odessa, Michigan, where he disappeared. How the hell is he getting to Arizona? And this is his brother saying it. And as soon as you told me that his brother said that, I'm like, that doesn't make no damn sense out of just the little bit you've given me about his disabilities and stuff. Because I'm telling you, I know siblings of disabled siblings, and siblings are very protective of their sibling. Like very, if they, unless he's disabled too, and then it makes me wonder who told him that. You know, which parent told him that, you know, brother's going to Arizona to see his bio mom. So one of two things is happening. His brother's either involved or his brother is also disabled and was fed a story that he reiterated to other people. He was at the laundromat charging his phone. How do we know that? Was he seen on... Because this is where it starts getting tricky, Panda Bear's Mom. I get where you're going. You might have read this. Now, do we have to differentiate fact from rumor here? Because again, it may be factual. I don't know, you know. But how do we know he was at the laundromat charging his phone? Was there eyewitnesses? Was there video surveillance that said it, or was it the family members that said he was there? We have to be very careful because anytime a person disappears under suspicious circumstances, we have to be cognizant where that information is coming from. Just like Malaya Brooks Murray, we found out that idiot Darren Geddes is related to frickin' Malaya, spreading around that her kids are alive. Well, that's kind of funny because law enforcement doesn't believe they're alive, but the uncle of Malaya does. Oh, and he's sure. He's absolutely sure. Well, then go ask your niece where they are, since you're so sure. Anyways, he was at the laundromat charging his phone. His brother called. Now, how did his brother call? How did his brother call if his phone was turned off? Because that's the reason why they couldn't track him, because his phone was off, right? Maybe different. Maybe I'm mixing it up. So we'll clear it up. Let's just keep reading this. So he was at the laundromat charging his phone, and his brother called, and Devlin was in a good mood. Devlin said he was heading to Yuma, Arizona. They don't do anything alone. Fact, his mother said. Fact, his mom said. That's not a fact. fact would be coming from law enforcement. You've got to be very, very careful when you're analyzing cases, and it's the family giving you the information, because the family could be just as guilty. We see it over and over again in our cases, and they could be trying to throw stuff off. You know, again, this might have already been resolved, and it is true. Again, I don't know. I'm just saying we got to be very careful what we're saying here, because just because a family member said, just like Katie says that Sebastian went to bed at 9 o'clock, but she's also the one that says it. We also believe she's the reason he's disappeared. So really, how much weight can we put in the statement that he went to bed at 9 o'clock? You know, so I just want to make sure. Panda Bear Mom, does he drive? Let's see here. He was at the laundromat charging. Okay, so she says the mom did. Mom is the one that confirmed that, and the brother is also the one that said that weird story about him going to Arizona. How the hell is he going to get to Arizona? So get those likes up. Yeah, so this is good information, Panda Bear's mom. This is good information. No, he doesn't drive. See, and it goes right into why is his brother saying. Let's just put this in perspective. Let's play the tape through. You have, and this is for each and every you, I'm just going to paint the picture and you decide what you're going to do in the situation. You have a disabled family member. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's a sibling, you know, maybe it's a niece, nephew, maybe it's just a friend's child. Maybe it's a BFF friend's child, right? And they have ailments such as, you know, they don't act or behave the same way we do for a variety of reasons. ADHD, autism, the chromosome deletion syndrome, whatever the case may be. And you find out that you know that this person has no job or no means of getting from point A to point B, yet they tell you they're on their phone at a laundromat, and they're just going to tell you that they're going to Arizona, and you as a sibling or a family member is not going to say, well, how are you planning on getting there? Where are you going to get ticket money from? Where are you going to get rental money from? How are you planning on going there? You're just going to let your disabled family member just... This does not make sense. This does not make sense. I'm sorry. I don't know how well you may know the family, but just on what you're telling me, the statements that are coming from the brother and being confirmed by mom. Now, again, this is just I don't have enough to really assess this. This is based on the limited information that I have been provided just now. So I want to put that caveat on there because it's subject to change. They check the bio mom's house because they're checking the bio mom's house. What about the brother and the other mother? They're the ones spinning this story that they just let him walk off into the middle of, nowhere into, oh, he's going to Arizona, nothing to see over here. That does not make sense to me. I wouldn't be looking at bio mom. I'd be looking at the brother and the mother. Because they're the ones spinning this story that they just let this disabled kid just go from Michigan to Arizona without even knowing how he's getting there? Does that really make sense? Like, I have a little sister. If I found out she's going to New York, I'm not all up in her business, But if I found out she's going to New York, I'm going to be kind of asking, like, so, are you flying? Or are you driving? Just as small talk. I don't think, nothing indicates here for me that he would be at his bio mom's house other than this other lady saying that he was heading to his bio mom's house. Bio mom's not going to be the first person I look at in this case, just on that little limited information that you provided me. I'd be looking at the brother. As soon as you told me that about the brother with the information that I had already previously known from just, you coming in here and, bringing up the case and us just diving in it. Older, I'm not sure. I can't find much about it. Yeah, I really think if they're looking at the bio mom, I think they're misdirected. I think they're holding way too much stock in the statements of brother and the other mother. The adopted mother, half mother, stepmother, or whatever she may be. But it doesn't seem right to me The state, when as soon as you said that he was at the laundromat charging it, you told me that this is what caught me, and I think it was just the way you said it, because you tell me that he took off to Arizona and his brother tried to reach out to him, but his phone was off. But then you tell me that he reached out to him at the laundromat. I would think as a brother, if you didn't know how they were going to get there and he tells you, oh, I'm going to hitchhike, you would say, well, maybe we should just save money and just buy you a bus ticket or a plane ticket or a train ticket. I just don't see a family member letting their disabled person just go off. That whole situation with the brother and that comment just does not sit right with me. And then when you told me that it was confirmed by the mom, was it the bio mom or the other mom? Because you say bio mom, and that when you say bio mom, that tells me that there's another mother of sorts in the picture. So definitely an interesting case. Well, hello there. Good to see your beautiful face back in the kitchen and doing what you do best. Yeah. Well, we're marinating right now. But pretty soon we're going to have to throw some oil in the skillet. I'm going to show them what not a bad skillet is. An unseasoned skillet versus a seasoned skillet. I just washed my stock pot, my skillet stock pot. And so I figured, I stuck it in the oven. I figured I'd use it for demonstration purposes so I didn't season it or oil it or anything like that. So... Anywhoosie. So I don't know. Yeah, give me some information about Devil and Tate, because that I don't know. I'm just not feeling the statement from the brother. Now I could be way off base again. You guys just seen the limited information I had to go off to formulate that opinion. That's not a sound opinion. Okay, I want to make sure that that's preliminary. That's our preliminary, on the fly, just based on information here. There's a lot that goes into analyzing someone or analyzing a case and, trying to make heads or tails of it. But anytime I hear disabled child or teenager and I hear that the very first thing I always think about is the parents or the people in and around, the closest people to that person. I want to identify those and eliminate them as quickly as possible. There are sometimes these people are seen on cameras at a 7-Eleven, 8 miles away from their home. You can eliminate that the family most likely had nothing to do with that aspect because, the people that are in and around that child were either at school or at work at the time that something happened. So you want to eliminate the people that are very, very close to that person early on and move on. But in this case, just with the lack of information about this case, it's concerning for me because there's just something with the brother, that statement. Maybe it was the way you said it. Maybe it's not the way that it appears. It's just the way that it was stated and how it came across my brain, how my brain processed that information. It might just be just that simple. So, how long have we been on here? Okay, so I think we're through our, hold on here. So, peel cut potatoes. Okay, so we're gonna par cook. We're gonna par cook the potatoes in the microwave. So let's get cranking on the potatoes. The potatoes. I'm gonna have to stand you up because nothing ever works in this kitchen like it's supposed to. Let's get you guys back because we gotta cut potatoes. Sorry for covering your face. There we go. So, for those that want to know, we are making steak and potatoes. Garlic steak and potatoes. There's our piece of meat. I decided to use a thin sirloin. It's just me and Glenn. We don't need a lot. I'll cut those in probably more or less like little chunks, strips. And then we need to parboil a pound of potato. I've already washed the potatoes that are in the bag. I know it doesn't look like I've washed the potatoes that are in the bag, but I have washed the potatoes that are in the bag because I made a chicken soup yesterday and I didn't know how many potatoes I needed, so I washed all of the potatoes yesterday. So I will be peeling and cutting these up, but they call for a pound of potatoes, so we'll find out what a pound of potatoes is. Well, that's 17, so it looks like I only need that. That's my pound of potatoes, so I gotta chunk those up. I will tell you, also on the TikTok shop, I'm sure you guys have seen these. Grab one out of the new package here. Hold on. I'm sure you guys have seen these. I bought these. These are supposed to replace this disgusting thing right here, right? I absolutely love these, and that's what I usually use to scrub my potatoes. But since this is the one I use for my stove, I didn't want to show you that because it's kind of dingy. It needs to be washed. They are rewashable, but the one I use up here, I've already got stuff on top of. So we're going to go ahead and peel these and then salt them and cook them for 4 minutes. Where is my peeler? Where is my peeler? Did I put it in here or did I put it somewhere else? The hell? Where's my peeler? Okay, I'm gonna go crazy. I literally do not see my peeler. This is my junk drawer, where everything goes. It's the one place I have my peel. Oh, there it is. It's hidden under my light bulbs. It's hidden under my light bulbs. So if you wonder, this right here would go in the composter, okay? So I just peel my potatoes. I'm not even going to stick them in water because I don't need to. We're going to cut them pretty quickly and get them in the bowl. So we're just going to cut them into 1-inch chunks for this recipe for today. And we still have to peel our onion. And again, this recipe did not call for onion, so if you do not want to use onion, do not use it. I use onion on everything. And you want to get the brown spots out of your potatoes. Nobody likes brown spots in their potatoes. You see brown spots that you didn't see when you're peeling them, cut them out of your potato. It tastes disgusting. It tastes like you're eating the frickin' earth. Nobody wants to taste like they're eating dirt. Alright, we got that. I have a funny feeling we'll still need another potato. I'm kind of a major potato person too. So this goes all in the compost. This will break down into, soil and fertilizer for the house, for my flower bed that I'm trying to get up and running. And never forget, a lot of people forget about eggs. Eggs are so good and so much nutrients for plants, and people forget to put their eggshells in their compost machine. Don't lack on the eggshells now. Don't lack on the eggshells. All right, let's get our. We're gonna after this while we wait for these. I'm just gonna cube this up. I don't even know if you guys can see me. You might just be looking at the back of my head, for all I know. So I'm going to do 1-inch chunks. I like chunky potatoes.
I don't know. I don't think there's gonna be enough. I'm gonna grab one more potato. Well, actually, this should be enough. I don't need to. Yeah, this should be enough. Alright, so like my stuff a little big. But we're going to put them in the oven. We're going to put some salt on them. I don't know if it calls for oil. Let me look at that. Does it call for oil or not? Potatoes. Okay, cubes, sprinkled with salt, shower bowl. Okay, and then microwave for 4 minutes. Didn't tell you to mix them up, but I'm gonna mix these up. Just make sure that they're coated. I lost one of my potatoes. That's okay. I think we'll put them in here for 5 minutes instead of 4 minutes. It'll do its thing. I'll sweep that up when I'm done with everything here and I'm ready to clean the kitchen. Alright, I think we're gonna get started. But before we do, y'all, before we get started, I wanted to show you guys something. I'm gonna turn my fan down. My fan's so good that it's flying at a mile an hour. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it off. Hopefully that'll calm that down just a little bit. Okay. So we've got our potatoes. We have our cast iron oil. That's what a cast iron is supposed to look like. When you have a cast iron that is not seasoned or rusty. Have you ever been to a garage sale and you see something that looks like this? That is from the water sitting on your cast iron without being properly oiled. So right there, this happens when I dry my cast iron out. Whenever it goes into the dishwasher, it always gets rusty. So you have to clean that. You have to clean that. These things have a tendency, if they're not properly seasoned, and you do not. If you are washing your pan with soap and water after every use, you are doing yourself a disservice. I don't care what anybody tells you about bacteria or anything. Cast iron is a different pan to work with, and you do not wash it after every use. You clean it out, you wipe it out, you keep it clean, okay? And you clean it with oil, but you don't use soap and water. You only use soap and water when you need to actually clean it. But then you have to go through a second part and season it. That means you got to take this from looking like this rusty mess coming out of the dishwasher, and you've got to oil it. You've got to clean all of this rust off. How do you do that? You use oil and coarse salt. And we'll go over that. I'm going to leave this like this for several days until we get back to it. But when we're done, this whole pan is going to be oiled. You're not going to see this. You know what you're going to see when we're done with this, that pan? You're going to see a nice, beautiful pan. You're going to see a nice, beautiful oiled pan that you can use. But you do want to clean your cast irons every now and again. I know I personally do. But there's a reason why people use cast iron, and it's for the seasoning effect. When you have a good seasoned cast iron, then your flavors, sometimes you don't even need, if you have a flavored cast iron, sometimes you don't even need seasoning on your food. You don't even need seasoning on your food. Cast iron's amazing. So I just wanted to give you guys some tips. A lot of people don't know how to work with cast iron, and they're constantly washing them and they're rusting, and then they see the rust and they're like, oh my God, I can't eat out of this. I need to throw this away, because people don't know what they're doing with cast iron. Cast iron is an amazing pan to work with. I love it. I love the flavor it creates.
So we're going to start off with getting a couple tablespoons in here. I don't know if it's a couple or one on the recipe, but I like a couple tablespoons when I'm doing meat like I'm doing. And all I do is just take it and just use the pan and just roll it around until the whole bottom, and it comes up about, I don't know, an inch to a half an inch on all sides around. And by the time you do that, you don't have much oil left. And that's all you do. Nothing spills. You got a fully oiled bottom. And that's what we do. Hey, yeah. I sit with a 91-year-old woman, and I'm literally getting paid to be in the swimming pool with her. We stay in for our. That's why that's going to be one of my must-haves for my next home. Is I've already made the decision. I'm not moving into any home that does not have a pool. My next house has got to have a pool. I'm giving up a yard for a pool because I got a huge yard that I do not want to take care of out there in that heat. And I'd much rather have a nice cool pool and a smaller yard to deal with. Just saying, the priorities. Oh, it's a little hot. The priorities. Okay, so let me go get my new handy dandy mitts that Melanie gave me. Go. There we go. Thank you, Melanie. Look at that. Bullhorn Betty in style. So here we go. That's what, like par, cook. When you put them in there for 5 minutes, they're kind of looking a little dry, but that's perfectly fine. That's, I guess, the way they want them to be. And so now we've got this. So I'm going to put this on medium, which is, I consider medium 5. I don't know what other people, I hate when they say medium high or whatever. Look, most of our stoves have numbers on them. When you're doing a cooking show, why don't you tell us the number you're using if it has a number on it? I'm using 5, okay? Is it medium heat? Is it medium high heat? I don't know. It's 5, okay? It's 5. We're on 5. We're heating the pan on number 5. I don't know what the heat temperature is, damn it. Quit asking. It's 5. It's 5. So then we're going to start building this. Once the heat goes up, the first thing I'm going to do is get the onions and garlic in there to start infusing this with it. I was going to use regular garlic, but I had this left over. I go to TJ Maxx. Is it TJ Maxx? Yeah, I think it's TJ Maxx. I go to TJ Maxx quite a bit. It's right next to Target down the road from me. And, oh, no, this is from DD's. So they're right there. So DD's. I was at DD's, and I got this thing for $1.99, and it was different flavors. This one's minced garlic and parsley. I don't usually buy this small of a container. This is the container size I have bought for my house literally for years, okay? You see the difference? But since we have just a little more, this is actually a flavored one. It's minced garlic with parsley. So I figured this is a steak. Parsley's not going to hurt it. I'd rather get this container out of my refrigerator so I can recycle it and not have it taking up space. So I'm going to use probably half of this. I use an ungodly amount of garlic in my dishes. But you can look at it like this. Everybody loves my cooking. So if you're like, oh my God, I can't stand that's too much garlic. Well, I don't think it is. That should be enough. And I'm not going to use this whole onion either. So the whole onion's not going to be used. I was thinking about whether or not to put just a big chunk in here as well, but I'm not going to. So we have this salt here, still some left over, and I don't like wasting stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle that right on the potatoes. And I'm just going to mix them up. It doesn't have to be evenly. Once they get in here and start cooking with the meat, we should be good. But this is what I'm going to do with the salt right here. Just kind of coat the potatoes. See? While that's getting hot, we're going to cut the onion. Remember, the onion is a root vegetable, therefore can go into what? The compost machine. If you guys are like really green, now you guys know me, I'm conservative, so for the most part, people are like, oh, you don't believe in the environment and all this other stuff. No, I'm not an environmentalist junkie. I believe the world has been around longer than we have. And yes, there is change in our climate. We went through the ice ages. Okay, is that going to come again? Yes, it will. When? I don't know. Maybe in another million years. I don't know. But the weather is always going to change. I don't get into all that bullshit. But I still like knowing that we can take something and repurpose it. I'm a repurposer. I'm not an environmentalist. There. There. So I'm not going to need all of this. This is a big onion. But I like onion chunks. So I'm probably, I'll leave a little bit. Screw it. There we go. I'll use so I used a half an onion. Okay, a half a large onion. So that would be like a smaller, or a whole small or a whole medium onion that you would want to use in there. And I just put big chunks in it. Now I'm not prepared to, forget what I was going to say, never mind. Season it until I know, because this is all going to come out. All I'm doing right now is seasoning basically the oil and cooking some of this stuff down. This right here is going to go on top of those potatoes, and I'm going to cook the meat. And then we're going to add it all back in and reincorporate it. Hopefully by that time I'm going to turn the heat up. And I want some stuff sticking on the bottom of this. When we pan fry that piece of meat, I want the sticky stuff on the bottom to be a gravy. This is not traditionally a gravy meal according to the way they're preparing it. It's basically just steak and potatoes, but like I said at the beginning of this, we're going to be putting our own little flair on it. I put onions in mine, and I like gravy. I like gravy on my stuff. You're going to be cooking potatoes in your some trenches. Oh, good gracious. But hey, now that we're kind of off Advocacy, Panda Bear's mom, I gotta tell you, there's some stuff in here. Now, I don't know. You know, I'm just saying we need to eliminate that part of the family. I'd feel more comfortable if that part of the family was fully and totally eliminated. That's what I'm saying. And then we can move on. And then we can start looking at the brother's statements that he has. But we have to always remember when we come across these statements, we have to look at, when it comes to these kids, teenagers, if they're living at home with mommy and daddy, we have to look at other things, okay? It doesn't mean mommy and daddy's responsible for it, okay? They could just, be living at mommy and daddy's and have some life problems that have them living at mommy's and daddy's, and the reason why they're disappeared is because of those life problems from some other person, the third party. But I always, because of where how I've been analyzing these cases, and we've done so many missing person cases, and literally more times than not, it's somebody that they know. It's hard to look at a case and not look at everybody they know as a suspect. All right, guys, let me get my little handy dandy. There it is. No, that's not it. Where is it? I must have been in here looking for something and just tore my whole drawer apart because I ain't finding any of the crap that I need to be finding here. Where is my little cast iron holder? Oh my goodness. Where is my cast iron holder? I have one. Guys, there they are. I'm not going to tell you where they came from. I don't see that there's any purpose to tell you where they may or may not have come from. But they do work great. Just saying. onions to look like, okay? You see, they're kind of translucent. They're kind of, the drawer, yeah, you're right, they came from the drawer. Okay, so you want them kind of translucent. So now we've done everything we're going to do with these, so now it's time to scoop them out. You can take a slotted spoon or a big spoon. It really doesn't matter what spoon, just a slotted spoon that can kind of help get some of that oil out of there. And you're just going to plop them right on the potatoes. Now, they said this whole cooking process was a half an hour. We've been on here for an hour, but in all fairness, the marinating of the steak probably should have been done last night, all night long, but it wouldn't have been fun that way. And I didn't think of this until I started getting hungry earlier today, and then I thought, you know what, I gotta cook, I gotta eat, and I gotta run a show. So, the cooking show. The cooking show. This is how I get away with eating and cooking. Don't mess. I put another, because that took a lot. So I put about another half a tablespoon. I'm going to put another tablespoon of oil in here for the meat. But now we got the pan nice hot. It's got onions in there. You see the garlic starting to pop from frying. So this is really good infused oil, flavorful oil right here. So now comes, let's go ahead and just turn this down to a 3. Okay, we're turning this to a number 3. Let's go over it again. It was on a 5. I don't know what a 5 is. Is it medium? Is it medium high? Is it low? I don't know, because that thing right there doesn't tell me. It tells me it's on number 5. Okay? And number 5 is straight up and down. Okay? Now we're on number 3. So now we're on a 3. Just want to let you know, okay? Because these people on these cooking shows are telling me medium high, medium low heat, and I'm like, well, damn. I got low and I got high, and I got numbers. I would assume 5 would be medium, Pebbles, but it doesn't say. I'm in true crime. You got to be careful assuming. I'm not making this assumption. I want facts, damn it. Low, medium. All right, we got Pebbles up in the house helping us. So we're at number 3, or low, medium. All right, so now my oil's nice and hot. It's time. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get this. It's going to be a pain, because it's going to make a noise. All right, we're going in. Now, if you do not have a pair of these, they're called tongs. Do not buy these from the dollar store. I don't care what they say. I bought ones from the dollar store and they bent while I was picking up a meat. It was so thin. Just pay the $2 from Walmart, okay? Pay the $2 damn. Quit being a Betty. Don't be as cheap as me. Buy from Walmart. They actually have longer ones and thicker ones. So if you actually use your tongs more than I do, why don't you just act like a rich person and buy the $10 pair? Okay, now we're done. So if you didn't watch, I seasoned, i.e. marinated my steak. Look at that beautiful marinade all over the steak. Got a little bit of overcrowd, so we're just going to work with the meat until we unovercrowd the meat. This thinly sliced shouldn't be that hard. Now this meat here is not going to take very long to cook. It's very thinly sliced. We have no bones in it. And we still have to gravy and add potatoes and stuff. All right. We're off to the races. We're off to the races. We're not flipping until that bad boy's brown or black. I'm perfectly fine with, I love burnt, not burnt, char. I love char. Order the new Whack-A-Troll t-shirt. Yeah, baby. We got the Whack-A-Troll t-shirt in. Thank you. Oh, and I missed one of the things. Thank you, by the way. I saw Pamela. I wanted to say thank you so much. Just give me just a second. Let me see if I can change. How do I change my... Oh, there it is. I also saw that I had another one here. Oh, look at that. Tammy says we are invited to come over. Pussy Willow Pendercat, thank you. Giving me the high five. And then, of course, thank you for your lovely contribution, Pam. I do appreciate that again. We are still not out of the woodworks yet, folks. We're still got court stuff, and I have no needs for right now. So this is all as transparent as we could possibly be. But I like making sure that we're still, you know, maintaining some stuff along the way, because it's making this stuff affordable for me with the attorneys and whatnot. And I just really appreciate all your help. But we've been doing okay. You know, I've been still steady, being able to save $1,000 a month. And it's been good. I figured, and I let the attorney know when I hired him that's kind of, as long as we can maintain that, I figured we would be good. And I just want to let you guys know, it doesn't seem like it. I know we don't talk about it, but believe it or not, you guys, we're maintaining that every single month right now. And I could not have done it by myself. You guys are such a big help and a huge support for me. We never try to we want all of our resources to go toward our victims, but this is the first time where we really needed, we really had these issues. We've never had a freaking sheriff's department violate our rights before. I mean, if you want to put it down like that, I've never been, you guys know me. I'm a conservative. I didn't believe in the bullshit. I never believed in a million years that anybody in 2025 would ever have their constitutional rights violated in America. How ignorant and naive of me to think that. Especially being in true crime. But I told I believe in law enforcement. You guys know I do. And I have been quite disappointed at having to cover some of these cases and seeing some of the most despicable behavior from our law enforcement body. You know? Oh, wow. That is smelling good. It's looking good. Look at that. Can you guys see it? Holy moly. That is. It almost looks like a skirt steak. If it didn't have top sirloin on it, I would have thought it was a skirt steak. I was about to make a Hispanic dish. Actually, I have a very good skirt steak Greek dish that my cousin taught me. Oh yeah, I also have Greek in my family. My family's just covered with brown skin. I remember we raised eyebrows when when Billy was born. He was so dark. But if he didn't look like a spitting image of his dad, we would have been, but the Greek came out in him a lot. My other cousin, he didn't have as much, he wasn't as dark as my older cousin was, which was my younger cousin, the older cousin of the two. And, I forget about that. So not only do I have Hispanic on my dad's side of the family, I've got Greeks on my mother's side of the family. Okay, we got that. We're going to have to push that up. All right. So now we're ready to take this bad boy up. We'll get that sliced while we start working on the look at that. Alright, so we'll let this sit for a few moments because it's got to go back, so I don't really care if it gets cold or not because I got to cut against the grain. So until then, let's go ahead and get ourselves a little something, something going here. Where is my... Right here. I think I'm just going to put maybe... I'm only going to put 2 ounces of water. Just about 2 ounces of water. 50 milliliters of water, I guess is probably... And I didn't even put that much in. I only put just a little bit. I'm just going to scrape this stuff off the bottom. And I'll add the rest of that water in after all this stuff steams out. Yum yum to my tum tum. Yum yum. We got the yum yums. And I always try to wash my dishes as I go. These go into the dishwasher, but if you get them all cleaned out, you don't have to worry about stuff sticking to them. People say, well, you should have a dishwasher, you don't need it. Well, I'm telling you, I've had $1,000 dishwashers, $200 dishwashers, it doesn't matter. Food gets stuck to them. I just prefer not seeing stuck food or having to wash my dishes twice. So I find this method works the best. And as you guys see, that's kind of what I do right there. Oh, and I love this thing. I got this thing off of Temu. Over the counter. I love this. I love that. Love it. All right. Oh. It's on a 3. I don't know what a 3 is. We're hearing it might be medium low. We're trusting Pebbles. She says it's medium low. I gotta trust it's medium low because I don't know. All right, let's put this stuff back. We'll clean the junk drawer. We'll clean the junk drawer one of these days. We'll clean the junk drawer one of these days. All right, guys. So now I'm gonna go ahead. It's very, very important to find the grain of the meat. It's the difference between tender meat and chewy meat. All right. So, how do you look at your meat and how do you cut your meat? You want to look at which way the grains are going. And sometimes on sirloin, you'll have the grains going one way and a different way. So how you want to do this is you never want to go with the grain. So the grain right now is going this way, up and down this way, okay? So we're going to want to cut our meat this way, okay? Guys understand? We go against the grain. Let me go. Now these are just things I've learned. I am not a chef. I just like food and don't mind the floors or the dish towel. It's going to go into the dirty laundry. So now we're cutting against the grain. We want fat strips out of this because we're going to cut those fat strips into little chunks, fat chunks. So we don't want to make it thin. We want fat strips coming off of this. This has a little bit of fat right there. And you got to be careful because it does start changing as you walk around. So like this one right here, you need to start turning it this way and cutting this way. No, we still got it. We still got it.
see this. Let me move this. Let me try to. Okay, here's how you know what he done. This off there. I'm gonna have to touch this. I'll eat it. I won't give it to Glenn. But see that? That's how you know you cut it right, because the grains are going this way and we're cutting this way. So that's what you want it to look like right there. I'm just going to keep walking this around, keep cutting it into chunks. Like I said, it makes quite a bit of meat. That's why I didn't have any problem. Now we're just going to want to come back through here and make these big chunks. Okay. Well, this all goes back into the pot. Ugh, good gracious, my hands are getting too oily. Let me wash my hands. Okay. Oh, I think I'm turning it the wrong way. It's just got a weird little knob on here. It doesn't let me. All right. Well, shit. Oh, there we go. Good gracious. There we go. Back. We're back. All right. So this is kind of what you want right there. So we have a whole plate of meat. And we're just going to add it to it. Pieces of meat still a little too big. Let me put that in. Taste it. Tastes like it needs just a tad bit more salt to it. All right, we are officially done. Let's go see how it looks. Now, there is your steak tips and your potatoes. Now, it does, like I said, look dry. It looked dry on the, where I got the recipe from, so I figured I'd zhuzh it up a little bit. So what does zhuzhing it up mean? It means that I'm about to make some gravy, okay? I'm going to be making some gravy. It doesn't take very much. We're going to take just a little bit of this water. We're going to add some baking soda, cornstarch to it. I like cornstarch better than flour. I think flour dulls this taste out. So we're just going to do just a little, that's a little slurry. We're going to add some. So about that much. And what I do so it doesn't take the flavor, this is just a little trick, guys. Do as you please. If you'd like to know my little tricks, what makes everything taste good, it's because I do little things to make everything taste good. For example, who wants cornstarch to eat? Nobody. So you got two choices. So you have two choices. You salt and pepper it, or you can take a chicken broth, a beef broth, a pork broth. What I do is this is a little bit better than bouillon, beef base. You don't need a lot. Not a lot at all. You do not need a lot. You do not need a lot. And you're just going to whisk this in here until it falls off of your spoon. And you just, now, that's my slurry. We're going to dump this. We're going to dump this into this pot, and then we're going to add a little bit of water so it doesn't overly dry, but we want it to clump up a little bit. So, all you do, when the bouillon comes out, you add a little bit more water. You turn it up to about a 7, and you let it cook. That's about as much water as it needs. Now again, I don't make steak and potatoes without gravy. You gotta gravy my heart, okay? And now it goes from looking dry to looking like it can be edible. Steak and potatoes, garlic steak and potatoes, there you have it. If you want to put some color in it, if that looks too bland for you color-wise, there's a few things you can do. My go-to, when I have too bland, I'm not doing it here because this is all it's going to do, is frozen or fresh garlic, broccoli. Just the florets. If you throw just maybe a handful of those in there, it'll brighten up the dish. Or you can do something a little more, I guess southern, more south. You can add peppers, or if you like spice, jalapenos would be great in that as well. So you've got all that. So there you guys have it. Now you guys know. Garlic, steak, and potatoes, very easy to do. We were able to do it with a very affordable, thin top sirloin steak. A lot of people think that they have to go out and buy the thick chunks of meat, you know, that are $20. You don't need that. Okay, we got it cooked enough. We're turning it off. We're going to cover. We're going to let it sit, and we just need to add a tad bit more water to that. And that's good to go. All right, we're done. And in just a few moments, once that gravy is finally done and set, then we'll take a little bite of it, see how it goes, and I'll take a plate over to Glenn and see how it is. So. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me and doing something a little different. We don't have a lot of time, you know, where we're doing something. We're always talking about the worst of the worst in society, and we'll still do. I mean, we still do, you know. So it is what it is. I don't know, but. Sebastian's case needs attention. I see that hindsight, Mama Rissa, BMW Coupe still been working it. We have Lauren from Facebook. Has been keeping at it. The At Night team has been keeping his name out. We had Matt Thibodeau. He's been keeping his name out, and we've been discussing what we're going to do to plan this event at the governor's mansion. So what we have here is we're going to be hosting an event
I can turn this off now so you guys can hear me a little bit better. Okay, so we are going to be hosting an event with over 100 attendees at the governor's mansion. This requires meticulous planning, coordination with state authorities, compliance with local regulations. The governor's mansion, officially called the Tennessee Residence, is a state managed property, so permission, logistics will involve state agencies. So we're going to be advocating for tougher penalties for crimes against children and elderly, and more services for at-risk families, laws allowing prosecution without a body, and crime scene processing at the last known location of a missing child. Those are kind of the bullet points on what this avocation truly is all about. The duration of this event is going to be anywhere between 2 to 4 hours, depending on how many we have. I'd like to make it a half-day event. That would be more ideal and suitable for what we need to do, how many people we need to have there. But more importantly, having vendors out there that can meet with these people that might be in need of services. We want to make sure that we have anybody that's that's dealing with domestic violence, that there's resources there to help them. Drugs and substance abuse, kicking the habit, being a victim of trafficking, right? We want to make sure that there are services there to help people, because there are going to be people that attend that need those services. And we want to advocate that those services will be there to draw more people into the event. So that's kind of the idea. We're going to have 100 plus community members, advocates, families, politicians, and media. Sorry about that. Olivia was calling in. I'll have to call her back. Can you guys hear me? Because when people start calling in, then it starts doing something with my audio. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, I was getting a phone call in. So what I was saying is that, let me just go back over what I had just said. So we plan on having 100 plus community members, advocates, families, and politicians and media. The activities will be speeches by politicians, advocates. I want some informational booths out there from some of our sponsors. This is an opportunity for people that have petitions for certain causes. We'll have a petition booth where people can sign different causes related to the event. And symbolic gestures. We haven't discussed this. Possibly, hey JH, nice to see you. Possibly the releasing of balloons, or a candlelight, candle lighting for the victims. We've done those before as well. So the location will be at the governor's mansion at 882 South Curtis Wood Lane in Nashville. We haven't confirmed that location. We haven't confirmed a date or time. This is all preliminary information that we have related to this. So capacity, confirm. I have to confirm. Oh, these are action items that we need. We also need to make sure, a lot of people don't realize we have to follow the rules and the laws when we're using these facilities. Although a private public event, we still have to make modifications. We got to have things for ADA, people that have disabilities. We got to make sure that there's reasonable accommodations for anybody that may be ADA. I don't know if we're going to be bringing in portable bathrooms. It really depends on how big this event can be, and we'll be making those decisions as we get we start filling in all the stuff. We've got a lot of stuff. So estimated cost for permits, equipment, which is sound system, tents, chairs. We have to have security. We're most likely going to be required to have insurance. We're going to have marketing items as well as refreshments. And this is probably going to cost us, this channel, anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 to do something like this. And this is for a mid-size event. And the event I'm describing is a mid-size event. Those could go up, into the 30,000s very easy. So that's why I figured we'd have a committee. It's not all left up to me to make these decisions. We'll have a board of directors for this event. We're going to have a lot of stuff to do. And again, a lot of this stuff is going to be voted on. So we need people that, have a passion for this kind of stuff, that really want to see success from an event like this and really want to make some changes. So I'm looking for those type of passionate people to partner with for this event. The timeline for this event is going to be to 12 to 16 weeks. Right now we are at July. I have been trying to pray over what would be the most suitable timing, because this is an event that, although was inspired by Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, is not going to be a Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers event. This is going to be a larger event that's going to have more broader, a broader scope. So we're looking at, all elderly people and, medically needy people and children. We're not looking, it's not just specific for Sebastian. It's for tougher laws, tougher penalties. Will Sebastian be brought up during this? I'm absolutely confident he will be brought up. I'm hopeful that his father will be willing to speak at this event. But, again, oops, I got this turned off. Perfect. Oh yeah, it's much better. All right, guys, we're getting there, and we will have a little bite. Check this out before we go. Don't let me forget to try that out with you guys. Okay, so we have to be ADA compliant as well. This is going to take 12 to 16 weeks, but this is my thing. I feel I'm really being drawn to February. Not necessarily February 26th on his 2-year milestone, but I'm really called to February, and here's the reasons. Because you guys know that this event is going to cost us a lot of time and money, right? It's going to take a lot of hands and a lot of people helping out with something like this. If I don't get the help, I'm not doing it, period. This is too much for me to do by myself. So we're either going to have cooperation by our audience and other content creators, or we're not, and the event will be done just the way it is. We'll just stop everything. So we're going to do this. I just want to set expectations. I just want to make sure everybody understands I'm not doing this by myself. And if we do not get the support in the committee and the board of directors for this event, then I'm stepping away from it. So that's where we're at. The reason why I have chosen that I think February will be the most reasonable time for this is it's around his 2-year milestone, because this is going to be so much into this and so costly to do this. I want to maximize this as much as possible. And we know that Sebastian, the 2-year milestone is coming up, and it's coming up quick, and it's going to take us at least 3 to 4 months to get something like this done. So that's going to already push us to November, December, and I'm thinking if we can do it in February, then we'll get more people coming out, people from Sebastian's army, because they will already be planning on coming out for an event for Sebastian anyways. And we can turn around and go directly to Sumner County and do our demonstration in Sumner County while we have everybody there. So it'll be 2 parts. It'll be at the governor's mansion. We'll have a great event there. And then we are going to go and raise our voices specifically for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers in Sumner County. Although I feel like they won't listen or hear us, I think we have a better chance of them actually paying attention after we leave the governor's mansion. I'm pretty sure that they're starting to pay attention to how upset the community is, and the United States as a whole, with their poor leadership and poor professionalism. And I'm not one that's just going to let that stuff fly. I just don't. I'm not built like that. I'm just not. I'd love to be, because I'd love not to care so much. But all right, let's try this out so we can get Mr. Glenn. Sorry, you guys are looking over in my my living room is really not that messy. It's just that the angle that you guys got was the other ceiling fan in the box, and it kind of looks. So this is kind of a stock pot. Now again, you could have done vegetables. There's a lot of ways that you could handle how you wanted to do yours. If you don't like, if you think it's too bland or color, I'm perfectly fine, because I do like, I'm perfectly fine. Actually, it seems like it would be good to have carrots, but it loses that flavor. So you add carrots, it doesn't have that robust garlic flavor in it anymore. It has more of a sweet toned down flavor, so that's why I didn't add it. But this is like a meat and potatoes. This is a very hearty dish, so it's still blazing hot, but I do want to get a little bite before you leave so I can tell you how it tastes. I've never made this before, so I've got no vested interest in lying to you guys. I'm just going to try it out. I've done some of my own little tweaks because I'm sorry, I know how I eat. And I gotta have onions in my meat. If I'm having meat and potatoes, it's gotta have onions. So right now, I've got a little bit of the steak, and the steak is in the. Oh! Hold on, let me get. It almost went to the floor. There you go. Can you guys see it? Oh, good piece of little meat. I like that. It needs a little bit more salt. Period. I need some salt. The flavor is good. It does have that heat that kind of hits you right in the back of your throat, but it's not overpowering. It just it's very flavorful. But I think it needs more salt and more garlic salt. Green bean. I prefer broccoli. I'm tasting this. I think broccoli would taste the best to color it up, or to really go, oh, that's what I was going to say, kind of more southwestern for this dish. If you really wanted to go, because if you add the broccoli, you're kind of going more oriental. But if you wanted to go more southwest, add some bell peppers, some bell peppers and some jalapeno peppers, and this would give you a whole different flavor. But this, as a basic starting to build off of, I would cook this again. Actually, we might take that other piece, now that we've had an opportunity to taste this as it was written. I went by a recipe that I got online called beef sirloin steak bites with garlic butter potatoes. So we got the garlic butter potatoes, and so that's all it was. But if you wanted to, like I said, southwestern, put some bell peppers and jalapenos, more oriental, add some broccoli in it, and I think the broccoli could go either way, southern or oriental, to be honest with you. So, but this is the base. And if you wanted to change the flavor altogether and take some of that heat out, maybe add some celery and carrots to this. I didn't want to add celeries and carrots to this, but I would definitely add broccoli. So, anyways, guys, thank you for coming and hanging out with me, learning a little bit about Sebastian Rogers' case. While we're not perfect, we are trying to find some ways to live in society, in this crazy society that's very, very expensive. And I had an opportunity to make steak tips with potatoes and gravy, but we had to use a cheap piece of meat. We went with a a thin sliced sirloin instead of a thicker sliced sirloin that would have thicker chunks. And so while we have, you know, a nice piece of meat, it's a little thinner. And this right here is really good. This is a way that you can have an affordable meal with steak and potatoes without having to pay an arm and a leg. I saw today when I went to the store, a package for 3 steaks was $35, almost $40, and that was at Save-A-Lot. I don't even want to look at what it costs in a butcher's shop or at Walmart or some other type of meat shop. It's expensive out there. Have you guys seen the price of coffee? Holy smokes. I just went and picked up just regular coffee. I've got espresso because our beautiful Brenda keeps me updated on espresso. Well, I can't be walking around the world wired up on espresso all the time, so I just need some traditional coffee. Let me show you guys something. At Winn-Dixie, this cost me $10. $10.69. $10.69 for this little thing of Folgers. The last time I bought Maxwell House and I got a container like this, I paid $13 for that container. That's why I bought it, because it was a huge container, the cheapest stuff I could find. When it comes to coffee, I'm pretty simple, except when it comes to my latte. Then I have to have specific stuff and specific things in there because I like my lattes the way I like them. $10.69 for this. It is getting ridiculous. So I figured if there's a way we can start inspiring people to cook at home with better quality food and cheaper ingredients, maybe you guys will find something that you guys like. Was this a little bit, it's very flavorful. I love the flavor of it, but honestly, for me, it's not colorful enough. I'm not a colorful food eater, but I like presentation. Okay, I am a person that cooks a lot, and presentation in some situations do matter. This is very delicious, but I think to spruce it up, I would have added broccoli. So if you guys are following along and you want to know what to do different with this dish, my opinion, add a little bit more salt, but definitely add some broccoli. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out, learning about Sebastian, and cooking with me. We'll see you soon.